Yo, what's up, Broncos country? How's it going tonight, guys? As you know, this is Eddie with Rocky Mountain Blitz. So, I wanted to make this video tonight and talk about the new trade rumor that came out over the last couple of days and what I think the Broncos could do with it, what, is possibly going to happen. So, let's get into it. So, with the new trade rumor that just came out over the last couple of days is that the rumor is the Broncos could possibly trade for Dak Prescott. Um, I don't see it happening. Like they were talking about the Broncos trading for him, I believe, either this offseason or next. Because next offseason he will be a free agent. But if that's the case, if he's going to be a free agent, then you really don't have to trade for him. You can just go sign him next year. But here's the thing: I don't think the Broncos are going to sign Dak Prescott this offseason or even trade for him because, like, from my understanding, it's going to cost the Cowboys are going to want multiple first round picks, which is just absurd. You'd be lucky to even get the 12th pick out of Dak or for Dak Prescott. Like, I'm not trading for a guy that I think is like 28, 29 years old. Why? Like, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, you want Bo Nix and he's 24. Yeah, but he's 24. Like, he's still got a good 10 years, maybe 15 years. Dak's probably got maybe a solid 5, 6 years left. Granted, he's 29, but I'd rather have the younger guy. But I think it's crazy, honestly. I don't think Dak's going to get traded. All these wild rumors about, oh, should the Broncos trade for Dak Prescott? I don't think he's leaving the Cowboys. I think he plays there this year, and then he's going to hit free agency next year. And I just don't see the value in trading for Dak Prescott. I really don't. I mean, you could argue, yeah, Dak Prescott coming here with Sean Payton, blah, 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 blah. I've seen enough out of Dak Prescott. Even with Sean Payton, I don't want him here. Like, especially if you gotta give up assets for him. Um, if you were wanting Dak Prescott, then why not just stick with Jared Stidham this year? Wait until next offseason. If you really want him that bad, he's gonna be a free agent. You won't have to give up draft compensation for him. All you gotta do is give up the contract, and you're gonna have the money next offseason. The Broncos are gonna have 100 million plus in cap space. They could very easily sign Dak Prescott when he's a free agent. They can offer him a big contract. Plus, if you trade for him, like I said, you're gonna have to give up draft compensation, and he's probably gonna want a new deal. His current deal is over next offseason. And from what I'm understanding, Dak's gonna want like a $60 million a year contract. No, I'm not giving Dak no $60 million a year. I don't care if it's this year or next year. I'm not giving it to him. Because you're still like you're taking 53 million dead cap this year on Russ. Next year, you're going to be taking 32 million, which ain't that bad. But I'm not going to sit here and have one QB that's not on the roster taking up 32 million of our cap and then paying another quarterback that I honestly don't think is good enough to even with Sean Payton to get to the Super Bowl. Why would I pay him 60 million a year? He's had Mike McCarthy, who's won a Super Bowl also. See, that's the thing that confuses me. I've seen some people say, well, he'll have Sean Payton in Denver or Broncos country. Yeah, so he has Mike McCarthy in Dallas with a better roster, mind you. Micah Parsons. You got CD Lamb. You got a good offensive line. You got solid pass rushers. You had good corners last year, and the guy still couldn't get past the first round. And Mike McCarthy, I don't know why people knock on him. People will say, oh, because he had Aaron Rodgers. Well, people made the same assumptions on Sean Payton saying, oh, he had Drew Brees. But was Aaron Rodgers before he won that Super Bowl with Mike McCarthy? No. Was Drew Brees before he won that Super Bowl with Sean Payton? No, he wasn't. Both head coaches have a ring. Like, if Dak can't get it done with that roster and a head coach, in my opinion, who has a Super Bowl ring, he's got that pedigree, just like Sean Payton does. Like, why would you trade assets for him? Why would you give him 60 million a year? That makes no sense to me. You're better off just staying at pick 12 and taking Bo Nix and letting Sean Payton develop his own guy. Now, I've seen a couple people say that, oh, Bo Nix will probably be like another Dak Prescott, get you to the playoffs, but he'll never get past the first or second round. Okay, and how many head coaches did Dak Prescott go through? How many OCs? He had Jason Garrett as head coach. He had what was his name? I forgot the OC in Dallas that went to the Chargers. He had him, and then now he's got Mike McCarthy. It's like, why? Why not? Why? Why do you keep wanting to go after band-aid quarterbacks? I'm sorry, Dak's not worth it. If you were to like, the Cowboys are like, hey, give us a third round pick for Dak. And Dak wasn't asking for $60 million a year, which is the rumor. I'm not saying that's what he's asking for, but that's the rumor out there. And where there's usually smoke, there's fire. Why would I give Dak $60 million a year? He's not worth it. Patrick Mahomes ain't making $60 million. Like, Josh Allen's not making $60 million. These top tier quarterbacks are better than Dak Prescott, are not making nowhere near that much. So why would I give Dak Prescott $60 million? Why would I give up assets for him? I wouldn't. I'd rather take pick 12 and put on a Bo Nix. And like I said, some people say Bo Nix could be another Dak Prescott. But at least Sean Payton gets his guy and he can develop him, his way. Like, I just don't want to do Band-Aids no more. I really don't. So I'm a no on the Dak Prescott thing. What would you guys like? Would you guys want the Broncos to trade for Dak Prescott, or next offseason wait until he's a free agent to, maybe give him a contract and let him come to Denver for about 3 or 4 years? Like I said, personally, me, I'm not giving up any draft capital. I'm not signing Dak to a contract worth $60 million. I won't do it. I'd rather give Bo Nix 4 years on his rookie deal, on a cheap rookie deal, mind you. Like, he's going to be cheap. That way, all that cap space that you're going to have next offseason, instead of giving $60 million to Dak Prescott, because it doesn't matter if you trade for him this year or you go and sign him next year. Either way, he's going to want a contract extension. And I'm pretty sure Dak has a no trade clause on his contract. So he could be like, yeah, I want to go to Denver. But this is my thing. Just like the Russell Wilson trade, people were knocking the Broncos, George Payton, which I understand. Why would you give Russell Wilson that contract before he even played the snap for Denver? Because they probably already agreed upon it whenever they traded for him. Usually things like that, they decide on at the time of the trade. But they couldn't give him the contract extension until the new owners took over, which wasn't until August. The new owners took over. That's when Russell Wilson got his contract from the Broncos. I guarantee you, whenever George Payton was talking to the Seahawks and Russell Wilson's agent whenever that trade was going down, the Seahawks were like, hey, give us this. Okay, George is like, okay, here you go. Here's the picks. Here's the players that you want. And then they probably talked to Russ's agent, and Russ's agent was like, hey, we want a new contract. If you want us to come play for you, we want a contract. George Payton's like, fine, I'll give you a 5-year, $245 million contract, $160 million guaranteed. That was probably already agreed upon at the time of the trade or before the trade. So they had to do it. It was part of the deal. Now, if you bring Dak in, Dak's agent's probably going to do the same thing. You trade for him this year. It's only if you trade for him this year. If you trade for him this year, they're going to be like, okay, Dak and his agent are probably going to be like, okay, thank you for trading. We wanted to come to Denver, but, at the same time, like, we want to come to Denver. That's great. We understand the assets you have to give up, but we want a new contract. And the funny thing is, that's more realistic for Dak to want that contract than Russell Wilson. Yes, Russell Wilson had the, Super Bowl. I understand, but Dak Prescott's younger. He's going to have more years under his belt than Russell Wilson will. At the time we signed Russell Wilson, he's probably going to want, this is probably going to be his last big contract. Maybe he gets another one, his mid-30s, like Kirk Cousins. But he's probably going to want like a, big deal, like a 5-year, kind of like a Russ deal, like 5-year, $250 million, like 180 or something like that, crazy guaranteed. Like, there's no way you can do that. I wouldn't even do it. And they're going to want that deal in place before the trade even goes through. Why would you do that when you can go into the draft, have Bo Nix at 12, cost, under the, easily cost effective, quarterback. Then you take that $100 million that You don't spend on Dak. You don't give him a contract extension, but you take that $100 million you'll have next offseason and you build the team around the young guy for 2025. That's the smart move. That's the move I think that's going to go. I love hearing these rumors, honestly. Every other day, there's a new rumor. Oh, the Broncos should trade for this. Like, even during, like, whenever free agency first started. Oh, the Broncos should get Kirk Cousins. Oh, the Broncos should go get, I don't know, Justin Fields or whatever. Like, you hear these rumors all the time, especially at the start of free agency. And I'm sorry, but I don't think Sean wants Dak. Like, Peyton could have had any quarterback he wanted at the start of the free agency period, all the ones that were available. He could have went out and got the Kirk Cousins. Yes, I understand Kirk Cousins is 36 years old, but, he's a pocket passer. He's perfect. I'm not saying Dak's not, but he could have went and got Kirk Cousins. He could have went and got Tannehill. He could have went and got Justin Fields. He could have went out and got Sam Howell. I mean, there were so many quarterbacks that got traded or went to new teams this year as a free agent that Sean Payton could have had his choice of any one of those guys he wanted. But why wait for Dak? You got what? Less than 2 weeks till the draft? Why? Why would you want to handcuff yourself yet again to another quarterback? Granted, he's in his 20s, the late 20s. But why would you want to handcuff your franchise to another quarterback that is like Russell Wilson? Don't get me wrong. He had the Pro Bowls, he had the Super Bowl ring, but the last couple of years in Seattle, he wasn't. You could see the decline. I'm not saying Dak's decline because he's only 28, 29 years old, but Dak is what he is. If he couldn't get to the Super Bowl with Mike McCarthy and that team that he had stacked last year with CeeDee Lamb, great offensive line, a good run game, an outstanding defense. What do you think he's going to do in Denver this year? He ain't going to do nothing. Our defense is not as good. Our defense this year in 2024 is not going to be as good as the Cowboys defense last year. And, I mean, you got Sutton who, I mean, you can put it out there and say maybe Sutton and CeeDee Lamb are equal. Some people might think that's crazy. We do have a better run game. I don't think we have a better tight end. Our offensive line's pretty solid. But it's like the defense, man. And I think the Cowboys defense was like top 7 or 8 last year. Maybe I'm wrong. I can't remember. But they had some superstars on that defense. What do you think he's going to do coming here to Denver this year? And Denver's defense is not going to be that great. We lost a superstar in Justin Simmons. You lost who was the other guy you lost? I'm drawing a blank here. But you just got so many young guys. You're going to have Caden Stearns coming back, and we don't know how well he's going to play after coming back from that major injury he had. And we still don't even have a pass rush. I'd say, honestly, the Cowboys have probably the best pass rusher in the game in Micah Parsons. The kid's a beast, and he's only, 24? Like, they have one of the better, defensive lines up front to get after the quarterback than the Broncos do. Like, who do we have right now? Baron Browning? And honestly, I said this the other night on the stream with Muhammad. What about Nick Benito? I was really wanting that kid to take more of a step this year, and he didn't. Even after we got rid of Randy Gregory and we got rid of Frank Clark. Granted, we had Jonathan Cooper, but why wouldn't he get more playing time? And whenever he did get playing time, there was only one big play I remember him making, and it was the game against the Bears. Whenever him and who was it? I think it was him and Cooper came off the edges together, but Nick Benito got there first and hit Justin Fields, and it was that fumble for a scoop and score for a touchdown. That's the only big play I remember Benito making last year. I was hoping he would have took more of a step forward this past year, but he didn't. So, the Cowboys had a better defense. We didn't. So I don't want Dak in Denver. If he couldn't do it in Dallas with that team and that head coach, what makes you think he's going to be any better here in Denver? He's not. Even with Sean Payton. Sean Payton's a smart guy. I think he realizes, hey, I'm not, Denver has been going through these retreads, these old washed up QBs and whatever. He's like, we're not going to do that this year. We're going to do it right. If you're going to do a rebuild, do it right. Tear it down, get rid of the older guys. Like I said, losing Simmons hurt, but I understood it. You want to get the old blood out and bring new blood in that want to win. You don't want a bunch of people that are like. I understand why they kept Bowles though, because offensive line safety is not like a top tier position you need, and it's not hard to find safeties. But offensive line, one, those guys are hard to find, draft or even in free agency. They don't hit the market too often. And you need good offensive linemen to protect your quarterback. Regardless if he's older or younger, you need a good offensive line to protect him. So I understand why not getting rid of Bowles, because he's a good left tackle. I think PFF ranked him last year top 5 tackles in the NFL. So, you have to keep him. But Simmons, he's older. He's in not a premium position. He costed way too much. As much as it hurt me to see Justin Simmons go, because he's one of my favorite players, I understood the logic behind it. You got to cut bait. You could be fine with, defensive coaches are the ones that want, really superstar safeties. Look at Pete Carroll. He had, Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs, 2 really, really superstar safeties. Did it help them win a Super Bowl? No, it didn't. This ain't 2014 anymore. This ain't 2015. Defense, yeah, still helps you win, but it's all about the offense. With the rules in place for the NFL nowadays, it's all about the offense and the offense scoring points. The offense is protected. So Sean Payton understands that. You need a good offensive line. You need I can't say superstar quarterback, because we've seen quarterbacks that ain't superstars, make the Super Bowl, like a Jared Goff. Who was it last year? Who was in the Super Bowl last year? I'm drawing Brock Purdy. Yeah, he's good, but he's not like a Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Burrow type. But you need a good to superstar quarterback. Sean Payton knows that. You need a good offensive line to protect them, and you need receivers that can catch the ball, aka Judy. I'm talking to you. Sutton, Russ looked for him all year last year, and I liked the chemistry they had, because Sutton was a big body. He'd go up and snatch anything out of the air. But it was frustrating because Russ would never look at anybody else. He'd look at Sutton, not there, look at the flat, running back not open. I'm just going to take off. So I'm going to say no. I pass on the Dak Prescott experiment. We don't need somebody's leftovers. We don't need that. We need to get a fresh start. And if you're already doing the rebuild anyway, you're taking on $53 million of the cap this year for the dead money for Russell Wilson. You need to go get a cost control quarterback, a rookie in the draft. You have him for 4 years, cost controlled. And like I said, next year you're going to have $100 million cap space. You can build the team. You can build the defense. You can put more weapons around him, and you're solid. So let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think the Broncos, granted, these are just rumors, but do you guys think the Broncos should trade for Dak Prescott? Or if they go into next offseason, they don't take a quarterback this year, which I don't think is going to happen, but just say it does. Would you guys be okay giving Dak Prescott $60 million next year? If he's a free agent, we go out and sign him. Would you guys be fine with that? Would you guys be happy with giving up draft compensation and still probably $60 million this year to take Dak Prescott? Or would you guys rather just go after a rookie, cost controlled, get through this year with the Russell Wilson contract, and then take that money you have next year and build the roster around the young guy? Like I said, personally, me, take the young guy, build the roster around him next year. Don't waste $60 million on a quarterback that couldn't get it done, even with another superstar, Super Bowl winning head coach, and a team that was full and jacked full of superstars on offense and defense, and still couldn't get past the first round. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe on this video, and follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on YouTube. You can follow me on Twitter or X. But thanks for watching tonight, guys, and I will be bringing you more videos as soon as more news comes out. I will talk to you guys later. Peace.